video is all about the stress response, and this is a really vital video for you to watch whether you're feeling stressed and worried and anxious about being in lockdown and the coronavirus, and if you are grieving and you have lost somebody that you love very much. For both of these things right now, the stress response in your brain is what is making you feel all these different feelings and having different sensations in your body that just aren't pleasant and aren't nice. When you understand about the stress response, it's really helpful because it makes you realize that you're normal, that what you're feeling and experiencing is absolutely normal, that there's nothing wrong with you, that you don't need to be fixed, that you're not going mad, but what you're experiencing is normal, and more importantly, it's actually your body's way of trying to keep you safe. When you know that, it can become a bit easier to manage. And also, when you realize it's the stress response, you can do certain things to start to lower the stress response and eventually turn it off. So this video, I'm going to be using some illustrations to help you understand. But the stress response is, like I say, your brain's way of trying to keep you safe. Now, your brain is pretty amazing, and it's split really into three distinct parts. The first part is called the brainstem. It's the first part of your brain to develop in the womb, and it's the part of the brain responsible for helping you to survive. So keeping your heart beating, your lungs breathing, helping you know when you're hot, when you're cold, when you're hungry. It's basically the part of the brain that keeps us alive. The second part of the brain is the mammalian brain, and it's called the limbic system. We share this brain with all other mammals, and it's the part of the brain that helps us have emotions and relationships. So it's in this part of the brain that our worries, our fears, our happiness, our joy, our despair, our anger, everything comes from that part of the brain. The third and final part of the brain is called the cortex, and that's at the top of your head. And it's this part of the brain that has developed over the last however many million years for us to become humans and to become separate from our ape ancestors. It's in this part of the brain that we think, that we can speak, that we make choices, that we can rationalize and reason and think, oh, if I do this, what if? It's our thinking and communicating with words part of the brain. Now, when we are stressed, when something really difficult happens to us, and whether that's being put in lockdown or whether that's us grieving because somebody we love has died, the mammalian part of our brain, our limbic system, takes over. It takes control. It's in our limbic system that we have the part of the brain that keeps us safe. Now, the main parts of this that you need to know are there's a little peanut shape called the amygdala. It's on both sides of the brain, and it's in the limbic system, the mammalian system. And it's that which keeps us safe. So it's on the alert to check whether there's a predator in the distance, whether we might cross the road and there's a car coming, whether we're about to touch something hot that might burn us. When it senses danger, it turns off the thinking part of the brain. So the cortex, where we can reason and understand and make choices, gets turned off, okay? So that's turned off. We are just operating in the middle part. And there are three responses for us to keep safe. So the amygdala turns on the stress response, and we have these three things. You might have heard of it before. We have the fight, flight, and freeze response. Now, fight is, if you go back to when we were cavemen, thinking about fighting a wild animal to try to keep us and our family safe. We have flight, which means taking flight, running away. Actually, it might just be safer to run away. And the third response is to freeze, to pretend that we're dead and hope that whatever danger passes and keeping us safe. Now, this fight, flight, or freeze response, or the stress response, can happen at any time. And usually it happens, it turns on, the danger passes, and we're safe. So for instance, if we're about to cross the road but we haven't looked properly and we step in the road and a bus is coming, our amygdala will turn on, shut down the thinking part of our brain, so we will jump into action to stay safe. Our heart will race. It will pump blood around our body to get oxygen around all of our muscles and our legs and our arms. Our breathing will start getting faster so that again we can get more oxygen in so we can be faster or stronger. Our muscles are going to fill with a chemical called adrenaline. Okay, and the adrenaline is going to make us strong and fast so that we can fight or run away. It's going to turn off our digestive system so that all our energy can focus just on fighting, fleeing, or freezing. So we don't feel hungry, that's just gone. And it also is going to make us not be able to make a clear decision because we're just running on that subconscious part of our brain. It's not the thinking part of our brain. Now, if that happened and the bus came, our amygdala clicks into action, turns on the stress response, we jump out of the road as quickly as possible, and then the bus disappears and our stress response goes, well done guys, and turns itself off, and we go back about our normal day. Well, when we're in lockdown or when we're grieving and we're having such powerful emotions, our stress response doesn't turn off. It feels like it's in constant danger. Now, you might not physically be in danger, but emotionally you don't feel safe. So your amygdala is just turned on all the time. Now, this leads to us feeling really uncomfortable. Our hearts are beating faster. That can actually make your chest hurt, can make you have tight pains. Your body is pumped full of adrenaline, so it's hard to relax. You feel jittery and on edge. Your digestive system's turned off, so you feel sick and you have that kind of twisty, knotty feeling in your tummy, or perhaps you just don't feel hungry or feeling like eating. Our thinking brain is turned off, so it's really hard to make decisions, to remember things, to pay attention and concentrate, to just feel like ourselves. It can also affect the speaking centers in our brain. So if you're really stressed, it can be hard to even talk properly sometimes. Like we get our words muddled up, or it just takes ages to get a sentence out. All these things are supposed to keep us safe, but when they don't turn off, because our grieving is still going on, our lockdown is still going on, so our brain is just keeping our stress response on. Now, there are things that we can do, and someone told me this once, and it really, really helped me to calm my stress response. And after about 2 or 3 weeks of doing it, along with mindfulness and yoga and healthy eating, my stress response did actually turn off. So I'm going to tell you exactly what this lovely lady told me. Sometimes when the stress response is happening, it feels really scary. We don't feel in control of our bodies. And actually, every time that our hearts are beating fast and we feel sick, or we just feel really on edge, like we can't relax and we're scared, it makes us more scared. And in turn, that makes all the feelings that we're having more powerful, which then makes us more scared, which then makes the feelings more powerful. And we end up in this cycle, this loop of fear and horrible feelings. Well, this woman told me that if you can imagine that in your limbic system, in that part of the brain where the fight, flight, freeze response happens, is a library. And every day, all the experiences that we have, getting up, going to school, getting dressed, laughing at a film, falling over, each of these things become a book. And you have an internal librarian working away in your brain, and every day they put all the experiences away on the books in the bookshelves. Well, when something really traumatic and stressful happens, like being in lockdown or having somebody that we love die, it's like all the books fall off the shelf and the librarian just doesn't know what to do. And the librarian is freaking out, and he or she is picking up the books and saying, I don't know what to do. I don't know where this goes. Did this happen? This seems really, really bad. Did it happen? And she's showing the thinking part of your brain, the books, which is why you might find that you just can't stop thinking about the person who died, or you can't stop thinking about COVID, because your librarian doesn't know what to do with the book, so keeps showing you them. You might find you keep having nightmares or bad dreams about it. And again, is the librarian showing you, did this happen? I don't know what to do. Where do I put this book? So what this lady told me, which really helped, was the next time that you feel the librarian freaking out, so if that's your heart beating faster, you feeling tense, you feeling terribly scared, or having a nightmare, or feeling really panicky, she said to talk to your librarian. Now, it sounds completely bonkers, but I can honestly tell you it does work. So talk to your librarian and say, yeah, I'm really sorry that did happen. It's so sad and it doesn't feel very nice, but I am safe. You can put it back on the shelf. Now, if you do that every time that your librarian shows you something, which is either going to come out physically as feeling jittery, feeling sick, feeling like you can't breathe, getting really upset and crying, if you can talk to your librarian and let them know that, thank you for trying to keep me safe, but I am safe, you can put the book away. You're actually working with your librarian. So you're breaking that cycle of fear, because you're not making her more scared. So she's going to show you more stuff and you're going round and round in a circle. You're helping her know, I am safe. You can put the book away. And doing that, along with the other things I'm going to talk to you about, will slowly and surely start to bring your stress response down. So the feelings that you're having won't be as strong, and they won't keep happening so often. If you do mindfulness and check out the green videos, that will explain all about mindfulness and how to do it. If you make sure you're taking your daily exercise, particularly if you can get out into the woods or the flats or go for a walk in the park. I know West Ham Park is closed, but see if there's other areas where you can just be around nature. That's so good for your mental health and bringing your stress response down. Making sure you're sleeping well, so check out the sleep videos. All of these things together, as well as talking to somebody. So whether that's somebody in your family, a friend, somebody in your family but you need to call them or WhatsApp them or house party with them, talking about how you're feeling, making sure that you're telling your stress response, I am safe. Okay? I hope this has helped you understand a little bit more about what's going on inside your brain and inside your body, and to help you feel a bit more normal. I know these feelings aren't nice. I know they're uncomfortable and they are really not something that you want to be experiencing, but they are normal. And if you do the things that I'm suggesting, I can promise you they will start to lessen, and over time, your stress response will turn off. As always, all the grown-ups at Earlham are thinking about